I am so excited for showing people that you can build differently. You don't have to play by the same rules. You don't have to feed into the same systems. I have a non-technical background, but like understanding that those are not barriers to entry to like making change in the world. Your experience and like your opinion is like the most valuable thing you have. And like having a place where that's celebrated from like a truly authentic standpoint, that's what I'm excited about.
Welcome to the CTRL ALT GAB podcast, where we sit down with tech founders to break down how they scale, pivot, and grow. I'm your host, Gabrielle Walthers. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here today on another episode of the CTRL ALT GAB podcast. I am joined by Loren, founder of Mirour. We're looking forward to talking about all things tech, entrepreneurship, entertainment, life, and we're very lucky and very excited to have her. So thank you for joining us, Loren.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so something really cool, Loren, that we talked about a little bit before we started recording here was you have some background in the performing arts world, in the comedic world, which is fun for me because I also have that. It's fun to see folks bridge out of the art space into the tech world, into the business world. I feel like not a ton of people do that, so it's always fun to find folks that dabble in both universes a little bit there.
Yeah, and it's amazing how much of a through line it is for tech. Like, I never thought doing comedy or doing stand-up or like doing performing would be able to be applicable to anything outside of that. But everything is storytelling. Every single thing you do in business is storytelling. And so just understanding human behavior, understanding how storylines work, understanding beats has been invaluable, incredible. It's led to a lot of like opportunities as well, which is really fun, being able to just like pick up public speaking. Like I did a TED Talk earlier this year and everyone was like, wow, it's amazing. And I was like, I have a degree in this. I should be good at this. Like I paid enough money to be good at this. So it's great. And I'm always here to like really understand human behavior. Cause like at the end of the day, that's all comedy is. Paying attention, seeing what you see, and then responding back to what your perspective is on that. And like that is entrepreneurship. That is tech. It's like observing behavior, solving a problem, and going from there.
And I think too, like the industry beyond tech, like even further niche down that mirrors in that like recommendation, a human connection space.
Yeah.
It's not a shocker that you have that background and this is the type of company that you started. It is reminiscent of some really cool parts of comedy and just any sort of performing, which is being able to connect with people that you literally just met and being able to bring everybody into the conversation and make sure everyone feels like they're a part of it. I see that theme sprinkled throughout everything Mirour, which is really cool to see. I found the same thing, honestly. Obviously, I host this podcast, but also just working in the marketing vertical, like talking to people starting in that space. This role is my first experience in the marketing vertical, but the applicability of all of the skills I've developed from performing have shocked me. Like, I'm just like, oh, this part is so easy. The talking to people piece, connecting with people piece, that like wanting to keep things light and be likable. Those are skills that anyone working in the private sector really like. Those skills are invaluable. It's cool to see what bridges those two together and how applicable they really are to one another.
Yeah. And I think the biggest one is always listening. It teaches you to listen, to pay attention, to like be present in the moment. And the moment you switch away from that is the moment you can't keep your finger on the pulse with like what's happening, how to pivot, how to assess, how to see where the market's going. Like that's the biggest skill, is being able to listen as a performer, not just speak.
Totally. And something that's interesting is a lot of times folks show up with a plan and they go, this is what I'm going to talk about, either on stage or at the meeting or wherever. And it's going to go exactly this way. And this is the flow. But then when you actually get there, you have to be able to change and pivot and switch things on the fly. If everyone hates what you're saying, you're going to have to say something else. Or if no one's listening to you give your presentation, you're going to have to switch things up. So that like malleability and adaptability is really as a soft skill, but it's a hard one to hone in on. I think there's a lot that any sort of performing arts can develop for folks that are trying to grow and scale their businesses or grow and scale their careers or switch careers or like do anything human facing, which is most things right now. Bridging off of that, I am curious what has led you to founding Mirour and what got you to be like, this is something I want to do. I'm going to start this from the ground up myself. What was the inspiration that kicked that off for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was working in advertising for a long time, and then we were just spending like lots and lots of money on these big campaigns, like multi-million-dollar campaigns, like all this output for getting people to buy. Like that's all it was. And I just couldn't help but notice this disconnect of like none of that mattered. All I wanted to know was just like, what everybody else was thinking. Like, why do I not know what people in my circle like think about certain items? Like, it just was bizarre to me that everyone like touted consumer insights and like consumer insight reports, consumer insights. But I was like, no one's ever asked me what I actually think. Like, a lot of the data was assumed. And I was like, okay, let me see. Is there something out here where I can like just ask and share recommendations in a safe space of like people I trust, people I'm connected to, and like begin my search from there? So I looked around, and a lot of the other competitors are more in the creator space, or they were pushing more affiliate links. Like, it was purchase driven. It was definitely more of like influencer based. Their business models were based on like purchase levels. And I was like, I just know there's a different business model. And I know there's a way for celebrating knowledge, shared knowledge, and making it not performative, where you don't have to post on Instagram. You don't have to be anonymous like you are on Reddit, and you don't have to be like bizarre as people are on Yelp. Like, there was just this missing
You
piece.
don't have to be hiding, and you don't have to be weird.
Yeah.
Revolutionary, yeah.
Crazy. And so I just started exploring, and we built a first version. And it was almost like it was a no code version. It was very scrappy. It was just so I could validate to be like, is the idea even like valid? And it was very much like visual based. And it was like Pinterest similar with like products and services and recommendations and wish lists. And everyone was like, right, we want more ways of connecting. We want more ways of like sharing the why, the context, the conversation. And so then built this next version of it, which was more like Reddit for shopping, Facebook groups, old school Tumblr. Like, it was just a way to make all these little like nuggets of wisdom that you have in your brain easily to share with people who like value your opinion. And so we just really honed in on that of being like, how do we get people to connect over like context, community, and conversation so that like we can actually learn from shared knowledge. Like, I want to know all those weird little things that you're like a mini expert in. You don't have to be like an esthetician to give me like a good skincare
Totally.
recommendation. I just need to know that it works for your skin, and I can at least go, I know you, I trust you, and go from there.
Yeah, I know that you touched on the esthetician's beauty space as just a case study. And not to add a gendered lens to everything, but I think that there's massive implications for women and gender nonconforming people, because it's hard to sift through the oversaturation that's on social media and being like shoved down our throats for all of these pink industries. Every time I make any purchase for anything I'm putting on my body, it's going through the Yuka app, it's reading all of the reviews, it's like a freaking process to feel like I know enough to confidently spend $35 on a serum. You know what I mean? Like, so many people, not just women, but everyone does that so much for everything. If you're buying a barbecue, if you're buying a cat tree, like, you're going to be reading the Google reviews. You have to go 3 different sites and do this whole thing. And people are just so used to that now that they're like, this is what you do. You want to buy something, you got to read it on Yelp, read a Google review, see the Amazon reviews, like everything. And that's too much.
And the onus then becomes on like the user, where it's like, we just want confidence in what we're buying. Like, I'm always like, I don't care what you buy or where you buy it, but I want you to have as much knowledge for like what makes you confident in your purchase, what makes it tailored to you. Like, personalization is like great and all, but you only know what you know. And so that's why we do bounce and we want to see other people's thoughts and opinions. Like, yeah, you can show me this bed and like, that's great, but like, I'm not going to just click purchase because like, does this bed fit my lifestyle? And like, what does it actually look like in my room? And like, these are things that you can't really make up. You just have to like let someone have a bit of friction in the process to just like find out if it's right for you. And you can find it through the lens of someone who has gone through it. And like, that's our whole point, is to like give you more context through like people in your network, people similar to you, people like who have niches, and you like, I value that person's opinion because like they knit all the time. So if I'm going to buy a knitting needle, I'm going to trust that person's opinion because like they've gone through thousands and thousands. How do you make that not a way where it's like anyone's weight has more than the other? It just has different weight for the person who's going to make that decision.
Yeah, and I think you touch on something really, really important, and a shortcoming of influencer style marketing and that type of selling and recommendations, where there's a growing distrust for the recommendations from those folks because everyone knows that they're being paid handsomely often.
Yeah.
The incentive for them to be truthful and transparent is really not there. And where it is there is for people that truly just had a good experience and have knowledge to share. And then with the added benefit of celebrating and, promoting just accidentally brands that deserve it. and
Yeah.
have a good product that, works.
Exactly. I'm always trying to be conscious of like, how do we reward that in a way that's not like gaming the system? Like, how do
Mhm,
we celebrate the fact that like you love a brand? Like, can we close the gap and be like, all right, by like sharing that, you get something back. Like, we're working through that on the back end to be like, as we build and scale, like, we understand this takes time and effort, and we want
mhm,
you to feel like your opinions are validated and not just, well, influencers get paid for this. And then like, we're
mhm.
just doing it for the good. But like,
Yeah.
even though I do it for the good, I do share it for the good. Like, I'm always being mindful about like later down the road when people are being like, this is our opinions. These are things that we weigh. Like, how do we give you delight in the process? Like, Reddit
Mhm,
used to do the karma points. I think they still do the karma points of like, how do we reward thank yous? How do we make it not about like the sharing, more about the like full circle picture and make you
mhm.
feel valued for sharing?
Definitely. Yeah. I think that you guys are in a very unique space. And I want to ask, is there anyone else that you have seen doing something similar? Is there kind of competitors in the like social hub recommendation space? And what is your strategy to navigate that?
Yeah, absolutely. There are, and there's like a bunch of people who are very similar. I have like some news that I'll share. I won't share it now, but like
Very
good. It's
exciting.
exciting. It's
Yeah.
the classic tale of like you're stronger together. I wholeheartedly like believe in this mission, like so much so that I'm like, how do we bring the rising tides together to like thrive? So like later on that. But
Definitely.
there are people doing similar stuff. And like the thing I always find is like, I'm very lucky where I have expertise in the industry of understanding monetization models that don't destroy the true mission of sharing knowledge. I have intentionally built our model to be smart long term for like not doing the purchase gain, which a lot
Mm,
of people I see them implementing. But once you turn on a revenue, you won't turn it off. So once you turn on purchases, what are you going to do? You're going to drive more of those into being your incentives because they're easy. They're like easy, low hanging fruit to show traction, to show revenue, but like it will mess with the integrity of the platform. My whole strategy is like, how can I be as vulnerable as possible and show all my cards to our users? Bring them along on the journey, really do a lot of like community led marketing and then product led growth to be like, let's show you the delight of our product being like excellent so that we're able to back it up with community led marketing and valuing that
mm,
we are always being like our customers are the most valued out of like everything else because like our monetization model is backing that up. It's been really fun taking some time to figure that out and like talking to retail experts, talking to marketers, talking to brands, talking to users to be like, there is a shared gap that I think a lot of people are missing and trying to
mhm.
see the small steps and missing out on the big picture. That's
Yeah.
like harder to do, but we're building a moat, which is really fun.
Very awesome. Yeah. I think that's such a refreshing approach to like competition to really oversimplify it,
Yeah.
especially when you have a very honest mission statement about helping people and solving a problem and I think aligning yourself with companies that are kind of like an ethically good match for that is as well is rarely a bad thing. Like we see themes of like the grind culture mentality grow and who cares what next you step on the way to the top, you know what I mean? But that's not the way to success. Radical transparency, um accountability, honesty, and compassion, and a drive to do good. Those are the things that I think propel the right companies forward for sure.
Exactly. And like, this is a big learning from comedy. Two people can tell the same joke, but it will always be different.
Yep. Hopefully, if they're good jokes.
You will never do what someone else is doing.
Mhm.
It will change. There is no like one succeeds. It was like we will all end up pivoting in some way. There is no final winner. And so being able to support that and being able to talk to your competitors and going like, hey, I see what you're doing. I'm so proud of you for jumping in on this. And like, I genuinely am always trying to extend my hand to say like, can I support you in anything? Obviously, I'm not
Mhm.
going to like hand you my customers, but like, I believe if you were pushing towards something good, like we will all succeed and we can succeed together. Like, even if we're direct competitors, we'll
Mhm.
figure it out. Like, no one's going to stomp anyone.
Yeah. It's that like togetherness that, especially in the tech industry, I feel like can be frequently absent. It's nice to get in front and speak to people that are like, you know what, we're better together.
Mhm.
There's no point in keeping all your cards too close to your chest and not letting anyone in and not sharing what you know. And I think that's great. So, what stage is Mirour at? Like, how long have you guys been to market? What does your like current customer base look like?
Yeah. So on our second beta in the new version of it, we launched in early June. So it's been a month of having our early beta testers on there. We have about like 1,000 in our early users. It's invite only just to make sure we have the right people. We're not trying to scale really fast right now until we validate that we have like all the amazing things that we need to like give people the surprise and delight that we're looking
Mhm.
for. At the end of the day, we have to make sharing and saving and asking for recommendations and like sharing our little nuggets of wisdom like easy
Mhm.
because it is with all of the things that we have to do in the end of the day. It's like we're asking for people to do a little bit of work. And so, how do we make that as easy as possible? And so, we're working on that right now. We're just like going through the testing phase for the next 2 months.
Nice.
And then we're going to start slowly growing network effects. We have things built into our product to like be dependent on these network effects where like it unlocks different features, it unlocks different things by being able to bring on the 5 people that you trust and like value and then being able to join in these like communities and spaces. We're trying to set that all up strong at the
Mhm.
beginning and like fail forward with people on it, but the right people on it to make the right feedback. Because
Yeah, you need to have it be tested by your target audience so that you're not getting all of this data from a group of people that the app's not really for. Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not about scale at all costs right now because it's like we have to make sure that we're providing them the most enriched experience for you to get the most out of it. Like,
Mhm.
it's the cold start problem. And like, we have a lot of like great feedback so far. A lot of the feedback is just like, when is it going to be like it's web app only? And they're like,
Yeah.
when can I download it? Like,
Yeah.
I want
And the
more
case
ways.
studies on your website are so I love them because there's that one that's literally just like, "I love Mirror. I just
Yeah.
wanted to say that."
Yeah.
I love that. I honestly think that speaks to the like, "Wait, this mirror is actually really cool. Everyone
Yeah.
should be on it." And I think that those they seem like such simple references and case studies, but they actually say a ton.
Yeah.
They are, very broad, kind of like generic seeming, but they speak to just how, like I mentioned earlier, like how ingrained in our brains as shoppers we are to already do all of this work manually. And so when it's all honed in and done for you, you're just like, oh my God, this is awesome. This is great.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it can
How
be
do
that
we
simple.
Exactly, and, like, my biggest thing is how do we meet people where they're at? How do we make it, like, part of the experience that you're already doing in your day-to-day life? So, like,
Hmm.
how do we make sharing part of your experience, like, by partnering with certain people, by being able to meet you in certain places, like, just making it effortless? Because like, the best way we can do this is, like, make it delightful and easy. Like, that's it. I'm not trying to
Truly.
ask you to, like, change your huge behavior, just, like, little tiny shifts on our end that we can do to, like, pull you back in, provide as much value when we do talk to you, and, like, we're not spamming you with email content. Like,
Hmm.
how can we just create more valuable content that gets you to come back in? And then during the shopping season, like, we're able to provide like rich information for everyone, like looking for gifts and being like,
Hmm.
yo, like, this is what people actually like and love. And like, check here, ask here, share this, like, be a true asset during like the
Hmm.
craziest time of year where everyone's trying to make you buy stuff, but being like, pause, take a second
Yeah.
and look here.
Cut out the noise. Here's things you should actually buy, and here's why, too.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Like, when you get into, like, your Christmas, Black Friday type places, it's hard to even find the why because 'cause you're just like, "People, stop. I don't
Yeah.
wanna there's too many things coming at me."
Yeah.
Being able to like quiet the noise and find real information from people that have it and not people saying they have it and just giving you information that isn't truthful or based on anything just to get you to buy it. So and you mentioned you're not trying to aggressively scale right now. You're in the beta testing. You want to be really intentional with that, which I think is great. That means the less testing you have to do down the line because you'll get things right from the get-go. But looking to the future, when do you anticipate being in that stage where you're like, okay, now is the time, foot on the gas, let's go. We have it, we have an application, we have users ready to go, we're to market, like, let's do this.
Yeah, full. It's like just doing some early testing right now with our initial people to be like, let's just really get these initial features like really solid, really make sure we're like building up that great database for you to come in and be delighted with like the search. And that we have enough people so that when you ask for a recommendation, we can help provide you with people who can give you those answers, or we can make it easy for you to have it where you ask a recommendation and it goes into your network outside of our platform. Like, how do we make it where it's you get the true experience as soon as you come on the platform and you're not just
Hmm.
like dead. It's like you come on here and this would be great in theory.
Hmm.
That's what I'm most excited about, like honing in on and like us learning how to, this wasn't a community platform before, but now having to learn how to do like community management is like
Hmm.
so different and being like, I'm feeling forward every day. Like I'll go on and be like, I'm a terrible community manager, but I'm learning and our
Yeah.
users are willing to come on this journey with us. But like, how do we make sure we're like, really being human first in a whole experience that's just trying to get you to like churn through as fast as possible. So
Yeah.
fall, so that we're ready for the shopping season when you do need to make a lot of purchase decisions. Like that's what I want to be ready for, to
Mm.
be like, here's a great solution to just like give you a second chance at like cutting through the noise.
Definitely. And something I just thought of, by the nature of the issue that you're solving, there are so many different angles that are like that just come to the table. Like I talked a little bit about the kind of the gendered lens, which I think is an interesting thing to think about. We talked about the applications and implications for small businesses.
Mhm.
And then on the other side too, in the age of just ethical consuming is really on the rise, just with, the whole like planet burning and stuff. So people are interested in how can I be a more ethical consumer? How can I stay away from fast fashion and these unethical labor practices in a way that is doable in everyone's current financial state and stuff like that, right? Like I understand a big barrier to ethical consumption is financial largely, and so there's so many implications for being able to have access to this information, like for people, for businesses, for the planet, for like everything. It's kind of crazy to see like the mental web that you can make just from kind of solving one seemingly localized problem.
Exactly. And just by being able to start with like your network, build out communities and like open the conversation. Like that's all I'm trying to do is be like, I'm not trying to lead the conversation. I want it to be a place for you to
You
be
want
able
to
to
host
share
the
this.
conversation,
That's it. Like,
facilitate it.
and that there isn't really safe spaces to do that. Like it's not like most places are meant for you to scroll. They're meant for you to stay on. They're meant for you to like be as many like in
They
minutes.
they intentionally, they're by design, want you to not think.
Yes.
They want you to just see and agree and move forward for sure.
Exactly. And so like we are setting it up so it's like we do just want you to have like confidence to purchase. Like that's it. Like how do we just make it like as much context so that you feel confident with that and then like go from there. Like
Mhm.
and those rich insights are so valuable to be able to provide like market trends as a whole without having
Agreed.
to sell data, like individual data. Like that's what's so fun is like you don't have to do what original tech people have done by like listening and stealing and sharing. It's like you can create this amazing, amazing market insights by being able to go like, we have this network and we're able to give you specific personas and we're able to connect you to people who might want to have conversations with you from like a brand perspective of like,
Mhm.
someone's looking for dog food. We have a bunch of dog companies here. Like this person's looking for it. Do you want to open a conversation? Do you want to be able to like share some information about like why you think you're valuable? And then we can like pull in some people from the network of being like, here's their recommendation.
Yeah.
People just to like cross share information because it's like
Mhm.
by giving the space for that. And
Yeah.
that's what we're here to do.
Centralized too is huge because you can find all of those different conversations, but they're all in a different place. And then you have to do the additional work of mentally validating, is this a reliable source? Is this someone that should be speaking of this?
Mhm.
Do I trust this person? Using dog food as an example, is this just something that the VCA wants to promote? But since we're in this third party location, I'm getting these professionals, maybe veterinarians, that are like, actually, don't buy this. This is what's real. Do this instead. It's kind of wild to think of how far expanding it can be.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's like we have so many like ideas for the future, but it's like all I care
Yeah.
about right now is like 0 to 1.
Yeah.
How do we show people that one, we truly do mean with our whole hearts, we're here to open the conversation and we're not here to just like make you buy more stuff that you don't need? Like
Yeah.
that's always the biggest hurdle is like trust with early people, like just building up our brand trust to providing value early stage of like the richer our database gets, the better information you're going to have. So early on, like how do we build these stepping stones to be like you as an individual user get as much value just by coming on as one person or like coming on as a whole community. And like that's all I care about is like 0 to 1, 0 to 1, 0 to
Yeah.
1, and then like going from there. But
Yeah.
we're getting a lot of good feedback and like people are
Yeah.
really behind the mission. And so that's what keeps me going.
That's really exciting. I love that you said 0 to 1 because I'm going to just completely disregard that and ask you to look beyond 1
Yeah.
for fun. When we look towards the fall, I think in this example,
No.
fall is number 1.
No.
And so what does 1 to 2 look like for you growth-wise? And what are you anticipating is going to be some of the bigger challenges to propelling from step 1 to step 2?
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be like community management. That's going to be a big one. Just the more people we get on the platform, like we initially don't want it to be led by like bots. We want to do like a lot of verification from like a user base. Like we're doing first names and profile pictures. We're not
Mhm.
doing anonymity because you have to be able to stand by what you say. And I want you to have the context of this person of like,
Yeah.
this is their name. We're not going to give the first last details of that information, but like just so people feel
Enough that you can be like, this is a human that is alive.
right? That's it. And how do we, one, manage that? Two, scamming. It's a lot of community management of people coming in to like sell fake information. Like that is something we can figure out on the back end testing of what are triggers that way is we're going to try and implement a lot of flagging, user flagging. Like, how do we empower our users to be like under the same like community guidelines to be like, if you
Mm.
see something, say something. We want you to feel like you have a weight.
Like almost like a community culture of accountability or something like that. Yeah. Where
Exactly.
people feel empowered to be able to be like, hey, this person is not real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because like the data is going to be so important for all of us to be, is this right? Is this giving you the context that you need? And so just verification with people. Are we getting the right people on here? Are people spamming like community guidelines? And then always the classic thing that I am excited for, but like nervous of is bringing on outside investment, getting people to like, you get a big brand deal and they're like, we want you
Mhm.
to do this. But those are things that I'm always like, we'll think about them when we come, but like we are able to lead with such a like strong mission. Having that core is so important to be like,
Mhm.
as you grow and as people see how valuable this is, being smart that our whole team is aligned of like, that is not our main focus. This is our main focus. Because the more integral we can have this be, the more chance of success of changing the future of tech and not
Mhm.
just doing the same thing that people are doing over and over again and
Yeah.
rigging the search, rigging the purchases, making it the person who pays the most gets seen the most. You can create a bigger ecosystem by sticking true, but I think 1 to 2, I think like 2 onwards, once you're like smooth sailing and you're just blasting off to outer space, you have more control. But that 1 to 2,
Yeah.
I can see there being a lot of whispers from outside people being like, you should do this. This will make you more money.
Yeah.
This
A
will
lot
blah,
of
blah.
input,
Yeah.
solicited or not. I'm curious. I know we've talked about that beta group of 1,000 users ish and how, important it is to get the right users so that the data is
Mhm,
useful.
mhm.
What does that group look like? Like, what is your ideal user at ICP? Because I think that your ICP criteria are very different. It doesn't really matter industry or age. Who are those people, and how are you going to be getting in front of them in a way that feels honest and genuine?
Totally. We sort of have two because we have like lurkers and posters to begin, like the askers
Yeah.
and the sharers, which is like not ideal, but it's like because of those two, we're trying to like bring both in early.
Hmm.
But we usually think of them as like older sister, younger sister. So they're connected by like a singular thread. Like one person's busy working, like entrepreneurial, creative in tech or in advertising, like in a creative space, has a good amount of income to where they're like able to make decisions on like what aligns with their purchases. So like they care more about ethics. They care more about like sustainability. They want to know the ingredients. They just like want to take that bit of a step before making like buy, which has been a really interesting thing of like, we're not looking to push people who just like typically use Amazon because like that's okay. That's like, if you just want to go straight there and go
Hmm.
straight to Amazon and make it that convenient, then like initially we cause a bit of friction in your purchase experience,
Hmm.
bringing you to a different perspective where you might buy somewhere else because it's a different source, a different option.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, there's almost those two groups. There's the people that are like, I don't actually care. The only thing I care about is ease and accessibility and speed,
Yeah.
and that's valid.
Exactly. And so people don't have the like revenue budget to be like, I only can afford this cheapest option to like get what I need. And like that is totally fine too. And like while we'll be able to serve you later, like right now, we need you to be okay with having a bit of friction in the process of being
Hmm.
able to like understand that like having more education actually helps you long term. It helps you buy less fast fashion because you're able to go, well, now I know this. Do I really want it? And like
Yeah.
people who already are like craving that, those are
Hmm.
people that like we've just been learning where our ICP, like this wasn't the original ICP. Like I thought it was a lot of like young women who had too many things in their brain and they wanted to save it somewhere else and come back to it like super shoppers, blah, blah, blah. But like that's not our ICP anymore.
Hmm.
Our ICP are people who don't really shop, but just have a lot of things they want to share and like aren't creators.
Or
And
people who are overwhelmed by shopping too,
exactly.
because it's stressful.
Yeah.
And especially too for folks that are not the crowd type or not going to go to the mall or get overwhelmed by trying to figure out what's real on Amazon.
Yeah.
It can be a scary thing for people that aren't big. My sister, my older sister, she can't shop. I don't know what it is, but she has such a hard time picking things. And she dithers back and forth so much about this over that. And she uses her network, like her family. She calls me going, what pair of snow pants should I buy? And I go, I don't know. The
Yeah.
ones that are the best. And so people like that need that extra support, I can see how that journey would change. The people that love to shop, love a good product, like are confident in that space, they're going to
Mhm.
love this. But then you
Yep.
look at it and you go, actually, maybe they don't even need it that much. Maybe they have their system down. They know what they need to look for. They feel confident in their ability. On the other side, there's this whole group of people that know what they want, know the problems they have, and the products they need to solve these problems, but have no idea how to make those choices kind of intelligently.
Exactly. And then like the first group, the people who are like that, but have no desire to like post that information publicly.
Mm.
A lot of people come to us and they're like, I have all these great recommendations, but I have nowhere to share them. I just have nowhere to put them. And a lot of our early users are those people who have a lot of opinions, have these lived experiences. Like someone was a runner, it was really great. I posted that I got these new running shoes because I recently got back into my fitness journey. And she was like, those are terrible running shoes. And let me tell you why. And you're like, amazing. Like
Yeah, you're like, I'm so excited to learn why these are the worst shoes ever. Please tell me right now.
please
Yeah.
tell me. She was telling me about the padding was bad for long distance running if that's what I was doing. And so you're like, oh, those are things that like now I have the education to understand. I just understand that. And it doesn't have to change my opinion. I just now have this knowledge from someone I trust who I know is a long distance runner, has gone through multiple pairs of shoes and is like, I had back problems because of my shoes. And so I don't want the same thing to happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
So we need the sharers and the finders, and like they're a specific group, and they're usually connected. And I think, like I say, older sister, younger sister, because it's like Gen X to Gen Z. We can still hit both, but like
Yeah.
that through line of that shared value.
Totally. And that hits on another demographic and another, like we have the almost that personality type grouping, the confident shoppers versus the tentative shoppers. But then you also have that age breakdown where the intergenerational knowledge from folks that have been on earth way longer than, some of us have.
Mhm.
Where is that stored? And this is a sociological issue that
Yeah.
we could talk about on a huge ideological scale, but it also applies here. I have aunts and my parents, they have so much knowledge about natural remedies that can work and like companies that, upcycle and use like reclaimed materials that they found at a tiny farmer's market in who knows where, you know what I mean? And that information isn't anywhere except their brain. And so where's an easy, accessible place for them to share that with people where it would be useful? I think that's really cool.
Exactly. And like we always talk about like, shared wisdom, shared knowledge. Like I am a huge believer that we all have these lived experiences. Like we all have something to say. We all have opinions. And by being able to create this, we like get to know each other a little bit more and like share some
Mm-hmm.
stuff together. Like even my husband, I'll like learn things. I'm like, I didn't know you know this. Like, and he'll like post on Mirror and it's fun because like we even get to know these things about each other.
Yeah,
And
you get to learn more about the people in your network anyway. Yeah.
yeah, and I like love it. I'm always like, "Oh, I didn't know you were into gardening. Like, let's
I
talk
didn't know
about
you knew that.
this. Like,
It's
this
so
is
fun.
fun." Yeah.
And apologies if you already spoke to this, but I think that having a community network is going to be quite an advantage for you for trying to get in front of these people to get that awareness of Mirror out there. When you conceptualize the plan of attack for establishing that brand awareness for users outside of beta, what does that plan look like for you right now?
Totally. So I'm planning it out in phases of like first focus on the individual user, make sure we are able to give you an experience that is unlocking your shared wisdom. Like
Mm-hmm.
just start there and then getting them to bring in their immediate network. Like who is it that you trust most? Who is the person you turn to the most for your trusted recommendations? Because we all do. And so like providing that value between those two, then going into your bigger communities, whether it's my neighborhood community, then
Mm-hmm.
going to the like larger communities of like Atlanta as a whole. What are businesses here in Atlanta we trust? What are places we love going to? What are some ways we can like connect this bigger ecosystem? And then
Mm-hmm.
from there, doing like niche experiences, artisanal like spaces and groups and like connecting over like hobbies and interests. And then like going bigger for things like now we have groups for sustainable fashion and things for like
Mm-hmm.
world trade and like tech businesses and blah, 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 and expanding beyond shopping, honestly, just like a big place for like hosting recommendations from like whatever it is that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And so really just doing it in those little tiny phases of being like, this is how we're able to truly create a network effect by showing the individual people that you have all these ways of connecting. And so then you can like cross that
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
Always making you in control, never trying to like when we do filter anything out, it's like through your specific lens that you have control over and not just like what we assume is your
Yeah.
one type.
Like reason-based filtering that the person's fully aware of. And I
Yes.
think in social media, people get frustrated when things are changed without any really communication or
Yeah.
rationale as to why.
Yeah.
Having that community network, almost like kind of social network-y
Yeah.
social media format
Yeah.
in a way that they get to be in the driver's seat is huge because the more and more these companies, the Metas and the TikToks of the world blow up and get all of this power to do whatever really they want to do with pretty much no resistance, I think people are craving having some digital control back in their lives.
Ownership of the experience. Like, I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest thing is having a say in what's going on is really valuable. And people always talk about Gen X, Gen Z, millennials. And it's like, we all just crave the same thing of like being in control of our world. Like, we don't actually ask for much as consumers. We just want to have a little bit of a say and not be
Yeah.
completely taken advantage of. And if we can just set those rules from the beginning and be like, that's not our intention. Our intention is to just democratize knowledge. And that is enough to make like a unicorn business. I think that's what's really crazy is you don't have to do things unethically to create a lot of value and like create a great business from it. It's just you have to be intentional and you have to set up the foundations right from the get-go to make
Yeah.
sure that that's always the focus.
Yeah, definitely. Last question I have for you. What are you most excited for when you look forward to the future of Mirour?
I genuinely am like so excited for showing people, not only like in our platform, but worldly, that you can build differently. Like you don't have to play by the same rules. You don't have to feed into the same systems. You can come from like, I have a non-technical background. I only started getting into tech less than a year ago, but like understanding that those are not barriers to entry to really making change in the world and that people learning that they have as individuals a voice. Your opinion matters. You don't need to be filtered out because like you don't want to be a creator. Like your experience and like your opinion is like the most valuable thing you have. And like having a place where that's celebrated from like a truly, truly, truly authentic standpoint, like I am so excited about to be able to like fully deliver on the promise that like I'm always giving. Like that's what I cannot wait for us to be like, I promise, I told you, like I'm not just some crazy lady who's like talking to you on TikTok and you're like, you're going to do the same as Amazon. I'm like, we don't have to do the same thing.
We don't
like,
want to. That's not the point. Yeah.
but being able to like make a great business and learn and have like my kid be like, oh my gosh, like my mom did that. She like said she was going to do it. She did it. And like, that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, what a good note to end us on. And Loren, I know you mentioned you might have something coming down the pipe later. Let folks know where to look for that and your social media, your site, that type of thing.
Totally. So we're always looking for users to test out our platform, especially as we scale to fall. Like the more diverse people we have on the platform, the better. So we're always like, if you value like context in your search, if you like value sharing your information with like people who want to learn from your experiences and like we would love to have you. I like truly mean it when I say like we want your feedback. Like this can only be great with like great people on it. So you can follow us at like mirour.com. We'll have some big exciting updates very soon. So like just keep an eye on our space and like always reach out. Like I will always respond to emails. Always.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Loren, for joining us. And thank you guys for tuning in for this episode of the CTRL ALT GAB podcast. Follow us along on our YouTube. Check out our website, freshlypressed.ca. Find us on Meta. Find us on TikTok. Find us everywhere. Find us. Find our home where we live. Just kidding. All right. Thank you guys so much. And we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the CTRL ALT GAB podcast. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.